Good morning. This is Joe Welch from Core Restaurant Marketing. And today I have Joe Mergio with me, who's the CEO of Deliver Logic. Now, Deliver Logic has a lot of other sub companies as part of it. And he's going to talk a lot about online ordering, things of that nature, and ways to promote your menu. Good morning, Joe. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. It's not quite the same as down there in Tampa. I woke up this morning, it was 23 degrees and some snow on my deck. But yeah, I'm sure it's not that way in Tampa.
Yeah, it's a nice 85 roughly when we get up here. It's pretty warm and sunny.
Wow. Well, good time to be there, I guess.
It
Joe, I want
is.
to ask you a couple questions about online ordering, but before we get into all that, why don't you tell our audience here about your company? Because I know it involves a lot of different things, and then also about your personal experience as well. So why don't you start off telling us about your company?
Sure. So, as Joe mentioned, we have a company called Deliver Logic. Out of that company, about a year and a half ago, we spun off another company called Active Menus, which Active Menus is a product that we offer to restaurants directly to help provide them with online ordering, mobile apps, and the ability to leverage our independent driver network. So the big difference between us and other online ordering platforms or options that a restaurant would have is our company and software, which was founded in 2007, was built on the last mile of delivery. So for years, that whole logistic side of being able to manage communication between dispatch, customers, drivers, restaurants was a core functionality and what we were really focused on, which is quite honestly a lot more complex than placing an online order. And now part of that process was obviously giving our clients who are restaurant delivery services the ability to aggregate restaurants in their area and provide a seamless and easy ordering experience for their restaurants or their consumers. So, we started to realize you had these big guys out there with great online ordering, but then you had the mom and pops and even the companies that owned a handful of locations, and they were really not taking advantage of the customers that would search them out directly, land on their website, and not capturing that data, that information, and that order directly. So that's when we really started to push into this Active Menus product.
Okay, so if I got this right, Deliver Logic, I'll call that the parent company, has been
Mhm.
around for 14, 15 years, whatever, and was really set up to manage logistics for primarily chains, I would assume.
Well, the primary purpose was before the Uber Eats and Grubhubs and DoorDashes, there, believe it or not, for over 30 years actually, there have been small, locally owned delivery services that we have clients that they have newspaper clippings that they showed me from like the 80s and 90s of their delivery service launching, where they used to use big boards with maps and that whole deal. So those were our core clients when we started, was turning those companies from using Nextel walkie talkies to mobile applications, and from taking orders over the phone and then calling the restaurant to being able to have a customer place that order online, and then send that order through, when we started, fax machine to the restaurant. So yeah, that was the core business, which was powering a restaurant delivery service. If you look at, our client base was, say, 200 small Uber Eats, which they're still out there and they're still delivering for restaurants all over the world.
Yeah, that's interesting because, yeah, we'll talk more about that later, but you hear so much about restaurants feel trapped, I guess, by the Uber Eats, the DoorDashes, and the Grubhubs of the world, and they don't even mention these small delivery companies at all, probably because they don't know about them. So,
Yeah, that's true in a lot of cases.
okay. So you've said, okay, how do we spin this off to an online ordering platform, which you can kind of thread the needle and tie it all together for independent operators and chains or whoever? That's good. That's good to know that that's kind of the background of what you've started with. Now, before the pandemic, online ordering was a fast growing business. Then March a year ago, what's happened to the online ordering and what have you seen?
Yeah, it's been real interesting. I'd say the biggest thing that I have noticed as a change is the consciousness of small restaurant owners' awareness of online ordering and the power um, and revenue it can bring to the business, but also the complexities that are involved with it, and the cost when you're using a large marketing third party like an Uber or DoorDash. So, really, I think online ordering has, it's definitely been around for a very long time. If you look at, let's say, like Domino's Pizza, right? They've had online ordering for a pretty long time. They've had a great mobile app. Um, and, even companies like Chipotle or Panera, but those companies had a ton of resources. And to be able to do that from an independent restaurant in the past, they were more, when we would talk to them, they'd say, no, I just send everyone to DoorDash. They handle my online ordering. And it was like, you understand you're sending them there. So the customer comes and finds you. They want your food. They go to your website, click a button, order from DoorDash. Now they have that data. You don't have that data, and you're paying DoorDash for that. So I think the biggest difference, to just bring it all around, is just restaurants understanding the value of online ordering and controlling that as much as they can, from capturing the consumer's data to really just having that in-house as much as possible for cost savings.
Do you think the independents are truly taking advantage of that to kind of help level out the playing field between them and a Chipotle or a Panera?
I mean, I'd say it has improved, 5 times what it was before the pandemic. But still, and I have been in the restaurant business for a very long time before I got into this, and I own a restaurant, which is a ghost kitchen now at this point. But I don't think that restaurateurs, especially if they're, mom and pop or under 5 locations, that they're really putting enough time into it. And I understand why, because at a restaurant, there is always a plan. And that plan is never what you end up doing for that day, right? You're going to come in, one of the coolers is going to be over 40 degrees. You're going to have to get in touch with whoever. Something happened with the trash last night. An employee called in, and it just ends up always dropping down. So although people are more aware and more open to it, they still, I see them having a tough time really carving out the time and getting it done. And you'd be surprised, because really spending, let's say, 10 hours, 10 true hours on this can really get you set up and started. So
The 10 hours is truly, the investment of time truly pays its results when you look at what, as you said, you pay DoorDash to take the money. They're taking the commissions and they're taking everything else too, the marketing ability. So, you mentioned
right.
that you have the ghost kitchens, and I'll touch on that in a minute. But have you seen any
Sure.
segments that are clear winners when it comes to online ordering, and some which can win but don't know they have that opportunity?
I mean, I would say in the past, it was obviously pizza and Asian was, the clear online ordering choice. Then over the past, say, 5 years, it's really opened up to most companies. Now, fine dining has been left out of that until the pandemic, essentially. Most people aren't going to order a steak for delivery, because we all know you cook a steak, they order it, medium rare. How do you really get that to them medium rare? It's next to impossible. Which now people are doing it, and consumers are much more educated now. They understand that there's a difference. And we used to always hear from these fine dining restaurants, like, well, we can't do this because people will look at our food differently. But I think consumers are much more educated now. They understand that no food, whether it's a burrito or a filet, is going to taste and look the same as it would if it was brought out to you right from the kitchen, 40 feet and put on in a plate in front of you. Um, but I would say at this point, you're looking at the biggest winners right now are those who have made the process very easy for the consumer and understand how to remarket to them. So I'd say those are the winners, and they're mostly people look at QSR, so quick service restaurants for delivery
Do you
and
find
online
that
ordering.
fine dining, and I'll even say a lot of sit down type restaurants, they've modified their online ordering menu to things that can travel well?
Yeah, they have, and that is another great thing about what we provide because you can post certain items that you just want offered online, and I think that's an important thing to do. If you know a product is just not going to travel well, there's nothing wrong with not putting it on there. So companies in the past, I'd say, obviously, what it's like 16 months or so now that we've been through this pandemic. Companies have really shifted and started to understand the importance of making their product available to consumers as much as possible. So, yeah, I think that's something that they're doing, and they're finding new ways to get their food to consumers. And not only that, the packaging has changed a lot. So there are a lot better options for packing up food and helping it travel well from, just tighter um, packaging, going away from like the big styrofoam to go boxes to sealed bags. At our ghost kitchen, we use sealed bags. So, if a driver is bringing it to you, they're not going to be able to reach in there and grab some French fries. Or if you're taking it, just sealing it kind of keeps some of that heat in there. So,
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I know the distributors talk about that a lot, how packaging is important, but they talk primarily about preserving the food as it gets there. But you're preserving it in a different way. Some distributors have done studies that talk about while French fries may be gone by the time it gets to your home, but in a sealed bag,
right.
it kind of prevents that. Just a quick question about ghost kitchens. Um, Scott Brunk yesterday or the other day from Food Pro talked about more and more of his customers are asking about it. From your personal experience with online ordering, has it worked well for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. It's a new company, and in fact, it's funny how we got started. It was as we started to launch active menus, and we were trying to get these small restaurants to adopt their own online ordering. This was kind of like, well, let's try it ourselves, so we kind of have a proof of concept here. We can really work through it, and we signed the lease in February of 2020. So our big thing was like, oh, we can do this. It's going to be a two-way thing, right? We're going to be able to really hone in on the ordering process. And of course, when you're involved with something directly, you just see a lot more detail. So that was one thing. And the other was restaurants are not focused on delivery and takeout. So we can focus on delivery and takeout and do something that no one else is doing with the products we provide. And then literally before we opened, everything shut down and every company just moved all of their assets and their resources into online ordering and delivery. So it's been interesting. People would think that opening a ghost kitchen at that time would be an advantage. I think if we would have opened, 12 to 24 months earlier, it would have been amazing because we would have already been made a name for ourselves as the delivery and online ordering experience, where now it's obviously what people have been doing for the past year or so.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about remarketing.
Mhm.
Tell me about your system, your online ordering system, and I'll call it the remarketing tools that are built into it.
Sure. So we have a completely integrated, automated marketing system. So it gives you the ability, and we have a bunch of pre-built campaigns. So what will happen is, there's the rule of three. If a customer orders from you 3 times, there's a very good chance that they're going to be a long time consumer for you and have a great ROI. So we look at, sending that first piece of information out there with whatever marketing you're using to get a consumer to land and order. Then once that happens, our automated marketing takes that information in, says, okay, if Joe ordered and doesn't order in 6 days in 23 hours, let's send him this offer. And that offer is going to be a very big offer, right? So maybe it's 50% off your next order, which people will think, oh my God, that's crazy. But it's not, because you're acquiring this customer. So then Joe orders that second time, they use that coupon. Oh, Joe's now ordered twice and he used this 50% off coupon. Great. Now we're going to send him another message in, however long that is decided. And that's going to offer something else. The offering will probably be a little less, but it gets them back there. And it really gets to the point where you can have this to, if a customer orders X times per week or month or day, send them this. If they don't order this, in this long of a time, send them this. If they spend over X dollars on an order, send them this. So it really is a way to kind of set it and forget it and have these custom campaigns that hit your consumers based on what they're doing. So it's a really great way to keep the consumer engaged, make sure that they're ordering from you and they stay ordering from you without you having to manage it and go in there and edit things and upload contacts and download contacts and change things up. It's really a set it and forget it.
Well, and I think that's a critical point that a lot of people don't even think about, the ones I speak to. They think online ordering and okay, I put it on my website and that's their set it and forget it part.
Right.
Okay, but you can have a website and it can be there, but if you're not driving people to it and then going one step further after they place the order, where then the campaigns kick in, you're not truly reaping the benefits of what the systems can do. And from my personal experience, I don't think most restaurants are. I mean, do you see that?
Yeah, especially the independent restaurants. They're usually not taking advantage of a powerful marketing suite. And it's something that we include with the service for our restaurants, because for us, we look at things on a performance base. So, we haven't really talked about this, but our cost model can actually be zero for the restaurants. We have an option where we say, we'll just put a little button in there that the consumer is going to pay an extra $1.50 as a software online ordering tip. Now they can uncheck that and not pay it if they don't want to, and we make nothing on that order. But most of the time, consumers, they appreciate the ease of ability. And of course, for us, with our mobile apps, with our online ordering, giving them the ability to log in with Google, Facebook, Apple, and then pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay, store their orders, store their credit cards. It makes it easy for them, and they really appreciate that. So we see them leaving that amount. And for us, we look at, if the restaurant's remarketing to them, there's more opportunity for us to get that per order transaction fee, because we don't charge a monthly fee, right? We look at it as, if it's working for you, if it's generating revenue, great. We will be able to make a little bit of money off that while you all are getting the lion's share.
Okay. I mean, performance-based marketing, I'm a true believer of it, because if it doesn't work, then nobody wants to pay anyway. So if it's working, it's working.
Correct.
Okay. Let me hit you with the question I see all the time. Everybody asks, okay, so I've got this online ordering situation or system going. I've got the remarketing and all that. The questions always come up around POS integration and delivery.
Sure.
How do you see those challenges? Do you see them as big challenges or not challenges at all?
Well, I'll start out with the point of sale integration. That depends on the point of sale technology. But we're integrated with about 40 different point of sales. So there's definitely a challenge if you're not one of those, or if your point of sale isn't an online point of sale. It's something ancient. But most of the big guys in the newer point of sales, they have open API access, which essentially means that we can send them orders, pull menus, really make the process as easy as possible. And then other than that, you're looking at just giving the consumer a free range to order from you. It's how do you make this something that an aggregator like an Uber Eats has over every restaurant is I can have one account and order from 100 restaurants. And people will always use that, right? But if my favorite restaurant is Joe's Subs, and I know I order from there once or twice a week, or at least once a month or a couple times a month, and their ordering experience is easy, and because there's not a third party involved, the prices are cheaper, the experience is better, I will continue to use that application. So for us, it's really getting rid of any barricade and making it very easy for the consumers to order, and then making it easy on the operational side with point of sale integration. The last thing that you mentioned was delivery, which is an interesting point. And that's where we really separate ourselves exponentially from anyone else that has this offering, which is if a restaurant wants to, find their own drivers and leverage those drivers to do their own deliveries, they can use our software for that, and it's all included. Or if they want to tap into drivers that we already have, if we have drivers in that area, they can do that as well. So it really gives them the ability to have options, which right now most don't have that option. If Uber says, look, if you want delivery, this is how you're doing it, that's how you're doing it. So we want to give the restaurants another option. And I think that's a big thing. It's a huge initiative for the rest of this year. What we're doing is we're creating a system where a restaurant can just enter a phone number, and it will send the driver like a link, and they can, boom, be able to drive for them. And the system pays the drivers for the orders. It does everything. So it's really a very easy process, and it's an opportunity for the restaurants to kind of take some of that control back.
Last question. A year from now, 3 years from now, what does online ordering look like? And I think also in mind with how will technology, as it continues to advance, impact online ordering?
Yeah, I think obviously online ordering will continue to improve on the user interface and experience side. Tap to order, speak to order, all those things. And those are going to happen across the board. Where we see the biggest opportunity, especially for the independent restaurants, which make up 95% of the restaurants in America, is a truly independent driver network or a restaurant recruited driver network that's low cost, and turning delivery orders from what people would call loss leaders into money makers, and giving that restaurant the ability to truly expand their dining room, miles, based on, having that virtual access and being able to get a delivery order and not pay 30% for it, because you are the originator of that order. You're the marketing arm. People know Joe's Subs. They go to that website. You don't have to pay anyone 30% to execute that order for you. It's just done by an independent driver network. So that's really where we see things going. And, they're getting there fast. I mean, one of the things that we offer our clients is the Google food ordering button, which is a great thing. It's above like all the third parties. And if someone goes to your restaurant and you're an Active Menus client, they can just order straight from there, and you get all their data. You can market to them, and it's a really effective way to get new customers and make it easy for them to order. It's kind of ordering through your online ordering, but through Google. And it's a partnership that, we're one of few that has this relationship with Google, and it's been great for our restaurant partners.
Good. Well, Joe, I thank you for your time today. It's been very informative, not only for me, but for the restaurant owners that are going to listen to this. And I think a lot also is, what's the future look like for this? Some think that with the pandemic, things will go back to normal. but I think online ordering has changed what the normal is. So I think it's going to be a bright future ahead for your company as well for the restaurants that truly work with it. So again, I thank you for your time and appreciate it. And again, this is Joe Mergio with Active Menus. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.